And now it is our honor to welcome our special guest and storyteller. And I invite you, Siam'elwit, to come forward. And I invite children of all ages to come forward to listen to the story. Come on up, everybody.
Ari? Hi, Kuchu. Good morning. Siam'elwit, Sinisnan. Klaktamish. Eflemisan. To Eflemi. My name is Siam'elwit, and I am Klaktamish. I am a survivor of the Great Flood. And I live on the Lummi Reservation. This is my home, given to our people through negotiation as a reservation, but our land is all the land that we've all enjoyed together. I want to thank the Duwamish people, our relatives, my husband's relatives, for the time in their sacred territory. I want to thank East Shore for the time to spend in your church. Thank you for the welcome. Nawilang, welcome. Welcome. We welcome each other. We welcome each other. Nawilang. So I am a survivor of the Great Flood. That means that I am originally from the sacred territory of these Sailor Seas out there. My mother is Dolores. She is from the Lummi Nation. Her mother is Philomena from the Nooksack Nation. Her mother was Lucy from the Matski Nation in British Columbia. She married Matski Harry of the Nooksack people. And his father was the son of Yusan. His father was Yusan. His father was Weewoks. My people come from Kwakwalakwi. Kwakwalakwi was a sacred village of my people. And this was at the mouth of the river called Meltsam, the always blueberry place, which was the Kendall Creek. This is halfway up to Mount Baker, Komokoshan. Komokoshan is where the foothills is where my people came from. On one side of the family, the other was from the Orca Islands. The Orca Islands. As the flood water started to come down, our people came to the islands. And then they started pairing off. The young children started growing up, and they started pairing off, and they went to different places, different islands. Some of the people went to the mouth of the river. And at the mouth of the river, the people started getting hungry. They were starting to look for food as the water was going away, and they're looking for deer and berries and all of the things that people like to eat. And they're having a hard time finding food, and the people started getting very hungry. And their chief was Raven. And Raven felt very bad that his people were hungry. They couldn't find any food, so he decided to get in his canoe, and he was going to go back out into the water. And he went out where the fog was very, very thick. And he went out, and he started crying in his canoe, feeling bad for his people. And then comes swimming up to his canoe was this beautiful woman with long silvery hair. Beautiful woman. And she came up and she said, "Why are you crying? Why are you crying?" And Raven said, "I'm crying because I'm the chief of my people, and they are hungry, and I have no way to get food to them. They tried to go and look for food, and they can't find any food." And Salmon woman felt so much love for the raven because of his love for his people. So she said, you could have my children. I'm Salmon woman. My children are the salmon. Take your cedar hat. Take my children. Put them in your canoe. Take my children. Put them in your canoe. Take my children, put them in your canoe. The rest of my children, go guide him back to the river where his people are. Go bring them back to the river. We're going to go be with them. So the salmon woman got in the canoe, and they all went through that deep fog back to the river. And they came ashore, and he had this beautiful salmon woman with him. And my people, come here. This is salmon woman. She offers us all of her children for us. Let's take care of her children. So they welcomed the salmon. They welcomed the salmon. They started eating all this good salmon, and they had some barbecue salmon and baked salmon and salmon soup, fish eggs, fish heads for the elders. They had all of these wonderful foods that they're eating. But then that time came by, the children were getting well again, and some of the little children, we don't know which child it was, the little children said, I don't like salmon no more. I don't like salmon because we get it all the time. We have to have salmon boiled. We have to have it barbecued and baked. When we go to our Freddie's birthday party, what did we have? Salmon. We have salmon so much, we can't even have anything but salmon. And so the salmon in the river, they were listening. They heard the children. So they went down out into the deep water again. Now the raven and his salmon woman, they were out walking, and they came back to the village. They didn't hear what happened, but then they said, the salmon woman was shocked. She goes, where are my children? They said, well, somebody, I don't know who, but somebody said they were tired of the salmon, so they left. And the salmon woman was so sad, her children left her, so she went back out into the deep water. And the raven, he was so ashamed. He was the chief of these people, and they're so disrespectful. So he had to talk to his children. Please be respectful. Please be respectful, the chief tried to say. So he loved his salmon woman. So he went back in his canoe, and he goes back out there. He's looking for his love. Please, he sees her. He's, please, salmon woman, come back. Come back. We'll be good to you. She loved him, so she came back. She told the children, come back. Now, not all of them came back because they didn't trust, right? But some of them did come back. They come back, and so the raven and the salmon woman are happy again. They're back on their honeymoon, walking off, picking berries. Meanwhile, they're off, and the salmon are up in their river. And Bear, Raven's brother, Bear, comes by and knows that Raven is gone. So he's going to come up there to the village and see what's going on. He comes down to the river, sees all the salmon there. Of course, he's jealous of the raven, so he starts looking at the salmon. He's thinking about getting some salmon for his wife. But what he does, he's put his black magic. Those salmon started they started laying down. The salmon started laying down, and the salmon woman came home, and the raven came back, and they seen all the salmon laying there dead. The raven was so angry at Bear, chased him back up to the mountains. Said, don't you come down here. You're not allowed to come here anymore. He was never allowed to go down close to the mouth of the river anymore. But the salmon, they were laying there, and so they had to put some more prayer on the fish. But then the salmon, this is why today, the salmon, when they leave, the salmon woman only allows them to come once a year up the river. And they all die after they spawn their eggs. But there was one salmon, one of the children that the bear did not get yet to, and that was the steelhead. That's why to this day you see the steelhead when they go out after they spawn, they will go back out to the ocean again. And then, after they spawn, the steelhead will do that. But the rest of them, after they spawn, they will lay there. So that's why to this day we also have the salmon ceremony. We celebrate the salmon as our relative, as taking care of us. We honor the salmon woman and the gift that she gave us. So our people will have a salmon ceremony to celebrate our first salmon. We have one salmon. We'll share it with all of us. All of us will get just a little piece, but we'll be so full from that one piece. And then we'll gather up all the bones, and then we'll put it on a sacred, there will be a prayer. There'll be a prayer. It'll be brought out. There's a sacred prayer that's used. The salmon will come back. They'll go back out to the ocean. They'll tell salmon women, to their mother, they're still good to me. They're still good to us. So that's why we do our salmon ceremony, to make sure that the salmon woman still knows that we still love her and we still love her children. So where I'm from, I mentioned Kwakwalakwi. Right now, the Washington State has Kendall Creek, Washington State hatchery there. Kwakwalakwi in the ancestral language means always dog salmon place. So the Washington State has an obligation with my ancestors to take care of Kwakwalakwi. So that's why it's important that we have partnership. That's why it's important that we have friendship. That's important that we take care of Mother Earth together. Because when we start fighting over the resources, when we start fighting over the salmon, when we start fighting over these things that we find sacred, they will leave us. And that's what we're fighting for, is that unity, because we know that argument in the past has destroyed so much, and the only thing that we have left to fight for is love. And so that's why we are always honored to come here to this sacred home, because we appreciate the love that we feel from our good neighbors. And thanking you for welcoming our children. Nawilang. Nawilang. Can I get my friends to say Nawilang? Nawilang means welcome. Welcome. So we welcome one another. Haishka Siam. Haishka Siam. I'm done.